I am 70 years old now. That sentence still feels strange in my mouth, like a language I never planned to learn. The man I see in the mirror has silver hair, tired eyes, and hands that shake just enough to remind me time always wins. But the house behind me, this house, has not aged the same way I have. It still stands strong in this quiet American town, painted the same soft beige, with the same wooden porch and creaking steps. The difference is simple. I am the only one left inside it. There was a time when this house never slept. Morning began with the hiss of the coffee machine and my wife humming softly as she moved through the kitchen. The kids used to run down the hallway, backpacks half-zipped, shoes in their hands, yelling about missed buses and unfinished homework. At night, the TV stayed on too long, laughter echoed off the walls, and life felt full, loud, messy, alive. Back then, I thought that was permanent. I was a successful man. I built things for a living, real things. Roads, buildings, homes for other families. I owned a construction company that started small and grew fast. Money came in steadily. My name meant something in town. People respected me. They shook my hand firmly and said things like, "You've made it." I believed them. I believed that working harder meant loving harder, that providing money meant providing care, that sacrifice today would buy happiness tomorrow. Every overtime shift, every missed dinner, every promise broken with the words, "just this once," felt justified. Tomorrow would fix everything. Tomorrow never came. My wife noticed the distance before I did. At first, it was small things. She stopped waiting up for me. Then she stopped asking what time I'd be home. Conversations turned shorter, colder. We spoke about bills, schedules, logistics, but never feelings. I was too tired to notice, and she was too tired to beg. One night she said quietly, "You're always here, but you're never really with us." I remember nodding, saying something meaningless like, "Things will slow down soon." They never did. My children learned early to not expect me. I missed Little League games because a client needed a meeting. I skipped school plays because a deadline couldn't wait. I arrived late to birthdays with expensive gifts and forced smiles, thinking that would make up for my absence. It didn't. Time moved fast when I wasn't looking. My son's voice deepened. My daughter stopped asking for help with homework. They grew into strangers who lived under my roof but no longer reached for me. And I told myself it was normal. Kids grow up. Life moves on. That's what I told myself. The night my wife left, there was no fight. No shouting, no slammed doors. She packed a single suitcase and placed it by the front door. She stood there quietly, her coat already on, keys in her hand. I asked where she was going, confused more than angry. She looked at me with a tired sadness I had never seen before, and said, "I've been alone for years. I just didn't know it until now." That was all. She didn't ask me to change. She didn't give ultimatums. She just walked out. I stood in the doorway long after the sound of her car disappeared, listening to the silence swallow the house whole. After that, I worked harder than ever. Work became my shelter, my excuse, my distraction. If I stayed busy enough, I didn't have to feel the emptiness waiting for me at home. The house became a place I slept, not lived. The photos on the walls felt like decorations from another man's life. Years passed quietly. The kids moved away. College turned into careers. Visits became rare and polite. Phone calls were short and scheduled. They told me about promotions, weddings, children of their own. I congratulated them, proud and distant at the same time. I told myself this was the natural order of things.
Then my body started to fail. The doctor's office smelled like disinfectant and bad news. He looked at my chart, then at me, and said, "You need to slow down. Stress has taken its toll." I laughed without humor. Slow down for what? The company didn't need me anymore. Younger men had taken my place, stronger backs, faster minds. I sold my shares, packed up my office, and suddenly found myself with time I didn't know how to use. That was when the loneliness hit hardest. Days passed without a single conversation. Meals were silent. Nights stretched endlessly. I sat in the living room surrounded by furniture meant for a family and felt like a guest who had overstayed his welcome. Sometimes I would sit on the porch and watch other families walk by. Fathers holding their kids' hands, couples arguing about dinner plans. Ordinary moments I once believed would always be waiting for me. They weren't. Now, at 70, this house feels too big. Every empty room echoes with what used to be there. I dust photo frames that no one looks at anymore. I water plants my wife once cared for. I sleep on one side of the bed, though I haven't shared it in years. My wife lives in another city now. I hear she's happy, truly happy. That knowledge hurts, but it also feels deserved. My children call once in a while. "Hey, Dad, just checking in." I always say the same thing. I'm doing fine. The truth is harder to explain. I am alive, comfortable, safe, but my life, the real one, ended quietly the day I chose work over people one too many times. If you asked me what success looks like now, I would tell you it's not money or buildings or reputation. It's a dinner table full of voices. It's showing up when it matters. It's choosing people before it's too late. Because one day, you wake up old in a house that remembers everything and realize it outlived everyone you loved. And that regret stays longer than anyone else ever did.